What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I want to get into a bold prediction or a common sense take. That's what we're going to try to discover here from an NFL analyst on the state of the New York Jets offensive line. So Jordan Reed of ESPN is an NFL draft analyst, and he wrote in an article about the New York Jets offensive line situation, which has been well documented now for a long time, because going back to even before last season, some were concerned because the state of the offensive line, is it going to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers? And unfortunately, injuries absolutely derailed the Jets season last year, and they had some major work to do on the offensive line. And the Jets did that. They signed Tyron Smith. They signed John Simpson. They trade for Morgan Moses. They draft Lofi. There was a lot being done to make sure that that isn't going to be a problem again this year. And this is what Jordan Reed had to say. Lofi will start at some point during the first quarter of the season and keep the job from that point on. Even though the Jets brought in Tyron Smith this offseason, he has struggled to stay healthy. That trend continues, and Fashanu takes over, which will just be the beginning of his Pro Bowl level rookie season. Now, the title of this article is called 2024 NFL Draft Questions, Best Rookies, Bold Predictions, and more. So that's kind of where the bold predictions part is coming from. But I don't think he is going out that far on a limb with this one. Maybe the only part of the conversation or the quote that he just put out there with his prediction, the only thing that I think could be maybe like a bold prediction is that Fashanu is going to play at a Pro Bowl level right away. Can it happen? Yeah, we've seen it, before, but predicting Tyron Smith to get injured is like predicting the sun's going to come up tomorrow. I wouldn't really classify that as a bold prediction. And I want Tyron Smith to play a full healthy season, because I think when on the field, he's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. But the reality is, over the last 8 seasons, he's played 13, 4, 11, 2, 13, 13, 13, and 13 games. So he is missing at least 4 games this season, sometime actually 3, because a big chunk of that was a 16-game season. So maybe it's unfair to say 4+ games every single year. But I wanted to look at when actually Tyron Smith is getting hurt. Like, is this something that happens later in the season, earlier in the season? It's kind of been a little bit of a mixed bag. So he has not missed any playoff games over that span. Like, every single year that the Cowboys made the playoffs, 23, 22, 21, 18, and 16, Tyron Smith has played every single playoff game that the Cowboys have had over that time. But the number of games that he's missed obviously has been a very high total. So that leads you to believe that more often than not, it's earlier in the season when he is missing time. So I went back and looked at by year which games, not which weeks, because there's bye weeks mixed in, but the game number that he missed for the Cowboys that season. So this past year was 3, 4, 7, and 15. So that would definitely quantify or qualify as the first quarter of the season. 2022 was games 1 through 13. He came in from 14 through 17 after that. In 2021 was 8, 9, 10. Then he came back, but missed 14, 15, and then again 17. Now, this is a common theme. We're going to see this pretty much, actually, the remainder of the time. From 2021, dating back to 2016, Tyron Smith never plays the last game of the season. And oftentimes, it's because the Cowboys have things already kind of clinched up, whether a winning season or a losing season, and they make him inactive. So 2021 was 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, and 17. I told you that one. In 2020 was games 2, 3, 5, and 16, the last game of the year. 2019 was games 5, 6, and 16. 2018 was 12, 13, and 16. 2017 was 10, 11, and 16. And 2016 was 3, 4, and 16. So it seems like usually it's early season to mid-season. Very rare is it at the end. In 2021, we saw that it was at the end with games 14, 15, and 17. But oftentimes he does miss that last game of the year. but it's not like he was missing tons and tons of time, and that also included last week. It's like big gap of him playing and then him sitting out the last game of the year because the Cowboys already have something locked up or out of the playoffs and don't want to risk further injury. The point being that Tyron Smith does get banged up a lot. It does make me feel a little bit better that a significant number of his missed games were the last regular season game of the season, and he wasn't missing playoff time. But I don't think it's that crazy to predict a 33-year-old left tackle who's been hurt a lot in his career is going to miss significant time this year, which is, again, kind of goes back to the old draft debate, which was, do you want the weapon or do you want the offensive lineman? And as I've said for months, I totally understand the argument for a weapon. Would not have been upset if they came away with a Brock Bowers, Roma Dunze, or whatever, because that would have been an extremely, extremely exciting piece for this offense and help Aaron Rodgers put up big, nice numbers. But going with an offensive lineman, I get it. And I do think that we see a lot of Olu this year. I don't know if I'm going to predict. So essentially he's predicting like anywhere between 16, we'll say, and 13 games for Olu Fashanu this year. I think if I set the over-under line at 7.5, I'm taking the over, but my guess is he's going to play somewhere between 8 to 10 games this year, and it's going to be a mix. Some on the left side of the line and some on the right. I think we get probably 12 games from Tyron Smith and like maybe 11 or 12 games. No, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm sorry. I'll say 13 games. 13 games from Morgan Moses. So that's 4 there. And then 12 games from Tyron Smith, which would be another 5. So that gets you right to like 8 or 9. That's how I think he does it. But anyway, do you view this as a bold prediction? Because I read this article. I love, anytime, especially this time of year when it's a little bit quieter, I read pretty much anything that comes out football related because I'm itching. I got the itch for the New York Jets and for football year round. That's why I do these videos. That's why I have this channel, to talk to you crazy people who also have that same itch and want Jets football year round. And when I saw this, I was like, is this qualifies as a bold take? I don't know. Am I crazy, or is that kind of like a common sense opinion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.